You thought the delay was just bad timing, a missed opportunity, a closed door, but what if I told you it was none of those things? What if this pause, the one that made you question everything, was actually the universe stepping in to protect you from something your soul couldn't yet see? Scorpio, something was hidden behind the scenes, something that looked like a blessing but carried the energy of a trap. And the reason everything slowed down is because you were never meant to walk into it. Not now, maybe not ever. This is your sign to stop doubting the delay and start trusting the divine. Welcome, beautiful soul, to the mystic Astrozen, your sacred space for astrology insights, tarot readings, healing messages, and the deeper spiritual wisdom your soul has been quietly craving. If you've been feeling like your life is on pause, like doors you were ready to walk through have mysteriously closed or timelines have slowed down for no apparent reason, this message is especially for you. Because what appears on the surface to be a delay may actually be divine protection in disguise. For Scorpio, a sign ruled by depth, transformation, and the mysteries that dwell beneath the surface, timing is never random. It is written in the stars. And when the universe steps in and gently or sometimes forcefully stops your forward motion, it is never to punish you. It is to preserve your power. There's a sacred reason why that text didn't come, why that opportunity slipped away, why your plans unraveled just when you thought they were finally aligning. You weren't denied, you were defended. You were being held back, not because you're unworthy, but because you were walking towards something not meant for your destiny. Maybe a relationship that would have drained you, a contract that masked manipulation, or a trap disguised as a blessing. The universe saw what you couldn't see and whispered wait when you only wanted to run. Today's message will walk you through the truth behind your divine delay, why Scorpio's soul path requires pauses that feel painful but are actually portals to higher alignment, and how this waiting season is sacred ground preparing you for a breakthrough that will make perfect sense in hindsight. So take a deep breath, release your frustration, and surrender your timeline, because what's unfolding now is part of a much greater story you were always meant to live. If this resonates even a little, stay with us through this journey. Let the words nourish your soul, ignite your inner clarity, and remind you that you are never truly alone in this cosmic dance. Hit that like button, share this with someone who might need it, and don't forget to subscribe to the Mystic Astrozen, where every message is a mirror to your highest self. Let's walk into this sacred revelation together. Because Scorpio, what you thought was a setback is actually the beginning of your divine escape. Scorpio, you may not always speak it aloud, but deep down, you already know when something isn't right. You don't need loud signs or dramatic warnings. Your intuition works in silence, in subtle shifts, in that strange feeling that settles in your gut when energy around you becomes distorted. Recently you've been sensing it. Something has felt off. Perhaps it was a plan you were excited about that suddenly lost momentum, or a person you were growing close to who started to feel strangely distant. You couldn't quite explain it, and maybe part of you even blamed yourself. But that quiet discomfort you've been carrying, that uneasy stillness, it's not paranoia, it's protection. Scorpio's gift is not just intensity, but foresight. You see what others overlook, and though you may not always act on your instincts right away, they never steer you wrong. The universe speaks to you in whispers before it screams. And right now those whispers have been getting louder. Something inside of you has been urging you to slow down, to hold back, to not rush ahead, even when everything around you seems to demand action. That's not fear. It's sacred awareness. Your higher self has already sensed the energetic misalignment, the hidden motives, the unspoken consequences. You were not being indecisive. You were being spiritually alert. This delay, this disruption, this stillness, it's your soul responding to something only it can see. Others may not understand your hesitation. They may question your silence, your withdrawal, your sudden change of heart. But what they don't know is that Scorpio never moves without purpose. When you pause, it's because your soul has already begun processing a warning your mind has yet to fully grasp. You are not stuck, you're tuning in. And that tuning is sacred. It's the beginning of spiritual clarity. The more you listen, the louder the truth will become. And soon you'll see with perfect hindsight that your decision to wait, your decision to trust the unknown, was not weakness. It was power. Divine, intuitive power. So trust the pause. You are not imagining things. You are receiving sacred signals from the universe. And right now it is telling you something is not meant for you, and your silence is the first step in your protection. Stay here. Stay grounded. You are not missing out. You are being spared. Scorpio, what you thought was a frustrating delay, an unanswered message, a missed opportunity, a sudden shift in momentum, wasn't bad luck or divine silence. It was a sacred alarm bell, not the kind that rings loudly in your ears, but the kind that vibrates softly in your spirit and protects you in ways you may never fully understand. The truth is, something dangerous, deceptive, or deeply misaligned was waiting for you just beyond that green light you were so desperate to reach. You were ready to move forward, and yet the universe said no, not to punish you but to protect your path. What felt like a door slamming in your face was actually heaven building a wall between you and hidden harm. Whether it was a person whose intentions weren't pure, a commitment that would have drained your spirit, or a decision that would have scattered your power, you were spared. Delayed, yes, but spared from a lesson that would have wounded you more than it would have grown you. Because Scorpio, you love deeply, commit intensely, and once you pour yourself into something, you don't turn back. That is your power and your vulnerability. The universe knows this about you, and sometimes it will gently remove what you're clinging to before you fall into something that would consume your energy or cloud your inner wisdom. That slow email reply, that cancelled meeting, that fading connection, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection, a divine course correction before the storm. Something or someone in your path was not ready to receive you, hold you, or honor you the way you deserve. So instead of letting you walk headfirst into chaos, the universe intervened with silence, delay, confusion. Anything to slow you down long enough to realize this is not your path, not now, maybe not ever. And while it hurts and while your mind may be racing with questions, your soul already knows the truth. You were protected. Heaven saw something you couldn't, and in its infinite wisdom, it rang the bell. Not to scare you, but to save you. So the next time you feel like screaming, "Why isn't this working?" to remember this. What didn't go through might be the very thing that's saving your peace, your purpose, your power. You're not falling behind. You're being shielded. Trust the delay. It's the sound of something sacred stepping in. Scorpio, not everything that threatens you announces its presence. Some of the most dangerous traps come wrapped in beauty, comfort, or perfect timing. And the reason your soul was urged to stop, to wait, to turn away, even if it made no sense to your logical mind, is because a cosmic energy shift was happening behind the veil. A trap was forming, and you were being divinely redirected before it could fully activate. You see, energy never lies, even when appearances do. What looked promising on the surface, whether a person, opportunity, offer, or sudden breakthrough, carried subtle vibrations that didn't resonate with your soul's evolution. There may have been manipulation hiding behind kind words, scarcity energy behind generosity, or emotional chaos beneath charm. But the universe caught it first, and in divine compassion it didn't expose you to the full storm. It simply pulled you out through delay. Scorpio, your path is not meant to be built on false foundations, even if they come dressed in your deepest desires. What you couldn't see, your higher self could. The quiet unease, the hesitation you felt but couldn't explain, the strange timing. It was all evidence that something in the unseen was being rearranged for your protection. You were about to align with something that would have cost you peace, drained your energy, or led you down a path that would take years to recover from. But the cosmic shift came first. A redirection disguised as a disappointment. The detour you didn't ask for, but needed. You are not being blocked. You are being cleared. You are not being punished. You are being rerouted to something rooted in truth, alignment, and soulful peace. This is the hidden side of spiritual warfare. It's not always loud, dramatic, or obvious. Sometimes it's a quiet decision not to reply, a gut feeling that says don't go, or a meeting that gets mysteriously cancelled. Pay attention to what doesn't move no matter how hard you push. Sometimes your blocked path is the most divine blessing of all. And Scorpio, because your soul came here for deep transformation, not surface-level survival. You will always be more sensitive to these energetic shifts. That's not a weakness. It's a sign of your spiritual maturity. Trust it. The delay is not in your way. It's clearing the way. Scorpio, for you, delay doesn't feel like mere inconvenience. It feels personal, because when something stalls or slips away, your instinct isn't to shrug and move on. You dive inward. You question, you analyze, you revisit every detail, wondering what shifted in the energy or in you. While others may view delay as a detour, you often interpret it as rejection or betrayal. That's the cost of your depth. You don't touch things lightly. You merge. And when the universe withholds, even gently, it can feel like abandonment. But this is where your perspective must shift, because delay in your path is not a punishment for wanting too much. It's a sacred pause tailored to your soul's growth. You are not like the others. You are ruled by Pluto, planet of transformation and the underworld. Your entire journey is about shedding, breaking, and rebuilding in truth. So when things don't move forward, it's not because you failed. It's because the universe is asking you to go deeper again, to shed another layer, to wait until the soil is truly ready for your roots. You process time emotionally and psychically, which means delays strike your inner world with unique force. But it's also what makes your evolution so profound. You don't just grow through progress, you grow through stillness, through questioning, through sitting in the silence and decoding what your soul is trying to show you. And that's what this delay is. It's your soul speaking louder than your plans. The discomfort you feel is not weakness. It's your emotional sensitivity alerting you to misalignment. It's your higher self saying, not this way, not yet. Don't rush to force doors open that your spirit has already closed. This is the moment when Scorpio must do what is hardest, surrender, not in defeat, but in sacred awareness that divine timing is still part of divine power. You are not meant to move with the crowd. You move with the tides of transformation, and that rhythm does not follow the clock. It follows truth. Let go of the pressure to prove, perform, or progress on someone else's timeline. You are exactly where you need to be. This delay isn't blocking your evolution. It's refining it. And when the shift comes, as it always does, you will rise not with haste, but with holy precision. Because Scorpio, your power has never been in speed. It has always been in depth. Let the delay teach you that your stillness is sacred. Scorpio, while your human eyes saw a closed door, your soul was being shielded by forces far greater than anything this physical world could explain. You were being watched, not in fear, but in fierce protection. There are moments when your ancestors step forward, when your spirit guides whisper in the quiet, and when the divine itself wraps you in unseen armor to block what you cannot yet perceive. This was one of those moments. The delay you're experiencing is not a void, it's a veil, a sacred barrier placed between you and harm, not because you were unworthy of the blessing, but because the blessing was still wrapped in danger. Maybe you were about to give your heart to someone whose soul wasn't ready. Maybe a path was opening that looked aligned but carried contracts of karmic debt or spiritual drain. Maybe you were about to say yes to something that would have taken you far from your truth. You didn't see the trap, but heaven did. The universe isn't only interested in your comfort, it's invested in your evolution. And so it sent angels. In silence, messages in delay, and spiritual interference that felt like confusion, but was really intervention. Someone or something was not aligned with your frequency, and your guides knew that if you moved too soon, you would entangle with energy that would take months, or even years, to untangle. So they blocked it, they delayed it, they slowed the momentum that your ego wanted so badly to ride. And while you may have felt disappointed or forgotten, you were actually being held with divine precision. Scorpio, your path is never just about achievement, it's about awakening. That's why your journey includes more spiritual supervision than most. Your soul didn't come here to play small, you came to transform, to protect sacred energy and to lead others through darkness by surviving your own. And to do that, sometimes the divine has to step in and say, not this, not now. It's not a punishment. It's proof that you are seen, that your prayers are heard before you even speak them, that you are not alone, even when it feels like no one is watching. Your delay is a sign that heaven is working overtime on your behalf. Let that sink in. You are not being left behind. You are being lifted above the storm. Scorpio, when your path suddenly shifts or detours without warning, it can feel like chaos. But beneath that disruption is divine choreography. You see, not every path that opens is meant to be walked. Some are meant to teach you discernment. Others are simply placeholders until something more aligned is ready to receive you. This delay you're in right now, this unexpected turn, is not a punishment or misstep. It is a sacred recalibration, a detour not away from your destiny, but into deeper alignment with it. The universe is not denying you progress, it is perfecting your path. And that takes time. Sometimes it means slowing down a process that felt certain. Other times it means stripping away the distractions and illusions that you were too close to see clearly. But always it means something better is being woven in the unseen. Scorpio, you are not here to rush your way to the top. You are here to be so rooted in your truth that what's truly yours cannot pass you by. And that truth can only emerge when you allow detours to do their sacred work, slowing you down long enough to reconnect you with your inner compass. This season is not wasted. It is womb space, a place where your next chapter is forming in silence, beneath the surface, preparing to emerge not rushed, but radiant. And while others may judge your pause as procrastination or your retreat as weakness, you know better. You feel it deep in your bones. This is sacred timing. You're being held back not to suffer, but to soar at the right moment. What is being aligned for you now is so deeply resonant, so spiritually fulfilling, that it could not arrive through haste. You had to be still to receive it. You had to walk through the detour to find it. Scorpio, your life is not following a linear script. It's following soul alignment, and that kind of alignment requires trust in things you can't always see. But soon, the pieces will fall into place. And when they do, you'll realize that this detour was never a deviation. It was your true path all along, guided, blessed, and orchestrated by the divine. Scorpio, the universe never leaves you without signs. It only waits for the right moment to reveal them, and after the silence, after the delay, after the confusion begins to settle, the signs of divine confirmation start to appear. Quiet at first, then unmistakably clear. You may begin to notice repeating numbers, like 1111, 222, or 444, showing up at just the right time, not as coincidence, but as cosmic fingerprints marking your path. Dreams may grow more vivid, symbolic, and prophetic, offering glimpses into what your waking mind hasn't yet processed. You may hear a phrase from a stranger that speaks directly to your situation, or encounter a song that carries the very message your soul needed. These are not random. They are spiritual confirmations sent to reassure you that you were never off course. The longer you sit in stillness, the clearer these signs become, and with each one you'll begin to understand why you were asked to wait. You'll feel a peace that replaces the urgency, a knowing that begins to rise in your chest, and an awareness that what's coming now feels different. It doesn't chase, it doesn't confuse, it simply arrives with grace. Scorpio, when your spirit feels calm and your intuition speaks without fear, that's when you know alignment is near. The opportunity that returns will feel natural, not forced. The connection that remains will feel rooted, not draining. The offer that comes will be one that sees your worth without negotiation. These confirmations will never come with chaos. They come with clarity, and while they may not look like fireworks, they will resonate like truth. That is how the divine works in your life. It speaks in resonance. You don't have to understand everything right now. You just have to listen. Pay attention to the way your body reacts when something enters your field. Notice what gives you peace. Trust what doesn't ask you to shrink or overextend. Your confirmation is coming, and it won't need explanation. It will arrive in perfect timing, and when it does, you will know this is what the delay was for. Not to test your faith, but to strengthen it, not to deprive you, but to prepare you. Because what's aligned with your highest self doesn't need chasing. It simply flows toward you when you're ready. And Scorpio, you are nearly ready. Scorpio, when you find yourself in a season of divine delay, the greatest danger isn't the pause itself, it's how you respond to it. In moments of stillness, your shadow may try to speak louder than your soul. It will tempt you to go backward, to revisit what already drained you, to reach out to people who disappeared for a reason, to reopen doors the universe clearly closed. But this is not the time to force movement. This is the time to root deeply. One of the most important spiritual lessons during divine delay is restraint. The sacred art of not acting when your emotions scream for resolution. Avoid the urge to rush into distractions just to escape the discomfort. Don't reattach to old timelines that once felt familiar but are now outgrown. The pain of waiting can sometimes disguise itself as longing for the past, but what you miss is often not the truth. It's the illusion of safety. Scorpio, your intuition knows better. Do not beg for closure from those who left without honor. Do not shrink to fit into spaces that once rejected your expansion. Most importantly, do not doubt the divine intelligence that put this pause in place. You may feel forgotten, but this delay is full of sacred instructions. Use this time to observe what still triggers you, what still tempts you, what still tests your faith. This is where true spiritual strength is cultivated, not in outcomes, but in the choices you make when nothing seems to be happening. Remember, Scorpio, your silence is not weakness. It's power under pressure, and that power is building something unseen right now. Do not let impatience lead you into old cycles disguised as new beginnings. Stay away from people, places, or habits that once clouded your vision. If you engage with what is beneath your vibration during this pause, you may delay your blessing even longer. You are in a moment of refinement, not rejection. Let the universe finish its sacred work. Trust that what is for you will find you. When you are no longer trying to chase what was never meant to stay, the delay is protection. The stillness is preparation. Your restraint now is an act of faith that declares to the universe, I am ready to receive only what truly aligns with my highest good. Wait, Scorpio, but wait with wisdom. Scorpio, now that the fog has lifted and the pieces are starting to fall into place, one truth becomes undeniable. You didn't miss your moment. You avoided a trap. What you thought was a cruel delay was, in fact, a cosmic interception. The universe blocked what could have harmed you and prepared something far more sacred in its place. And though you may never know the full weight of what you were spared, your spirit will feel the lightness that comes with divine protection. The heaviness is lifting, not because your circumstances have changed instantly, but because your perception has. You now understand, not every open door is an invitation, not every connection is a calling, and not every delay is denial. Some are rescue missions written in silence. Scorpio, this is your breakthrough season, but it won't look like loud celebrations or sudden explosions. It will feel like peace. It will move like clarity. It will land in your life softly but deeply. You've been refined, not rejected, elevated, not erased. The universe has rerouted you to a timeline that matches your spiritual evolution. And from this moment on, things that once tempted you will no longer resonate. You're stepping into a new field of frequency, and it's one where effort and alignment meet. So take a breath. Feel the shift. The trap has been dodged. Now prepare to walk in a breakthrough that feels safe, supported, and entirely your own. And as this message comes to a close, remember, this is just the beginning. At the Mystic Astrozen, we guide you through these sacred shifts, not with fear, but with cosmic insight, soulful healing, and spiritual clarity. If this message resonated, let your heart lead the way. Tap like, share this with someone who may need the same light, and subscribe so you never miss what the universe is preparing for you next. Turn on the notification bell and join this growing circle of souls awakening together. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are walking a sacred path, and the divine is not done revealing its blessings. Your delay was your deliverance. Your future is waiting, and this time, it's aligned.